Good morning to everyone. In this session, we are going to discuss about structured query languages and its types. So basically, the SQL commands are divided into the four types: DDL, DML, DCL, and TCL. So each and every types, what are all the separate functionalities is there, how the syntax of the query, and what are all the execution process. So these things we are going to discuss under this topic. The first one is DDR. Its abbreviation is data definition language. So the name itself, we can able to understand what kind of the functionalities comes under the DDR. So data definition, it is going to be defining our tables. So what are all the functionalities we are working progress under the table? So that is comes under DDL. So it's not related to the content of the table. So we want to make the clarify. So it is defining the structure of your table. So these are all the functionalities: create, alter, drop, truncate, and comment. So create, we know very well, it's a creation of the table. So the new table is going to be created under the database. So we will use the create table. Alter table, it's a alteration of the structure of the table. So this is not relevant to the updation of the data. So many students are making the confusion with the alteration and then updation. Alteration, it's defining the structure of the table, altering the structure. It's not relevant to our content. And then drop table is deleting the object from the database. So once we created and the purpose is not needed, means we can able to delete the table. And then trunking, it removes all the records from the table. And comment, so we can add some comments to our data dictionaries for the huge projects. Whenever we are using the multiple users, at the time this will be helpful. So in this session, we are just go through the basics, what is what, and then next section we will just discuss in detail about each and every functionality, how it is working. And DML, it's a data manipulation languages. So here the word manipulation is, it's dealing with the data. So what are all the manipulation we are doing? So that is relevant to our content of the table. So select we know very well. So we are just retrieving the data from the table or database. Different types of the selection is there, so that we will just look into the deeper in the next sections. And then insertion of the data. Once the table created, the value has to be imported, means we will use the insert. And then updation is any values we want to update. So for example, for particular student, the mark will be the 50. I need to change the mark as a 60. So this is the updation. So the updation of the existing data within the table, we will use the update. And then deleting the data. And call, explain, and look tables. So call, sometimes we will use using the PLSQLs procedures, some sub programs. At the time we will use the call. And explain plan, it's explaining the access path to the data. So where the data is available and we have to retrieve from that. So explaining the path of the data. So that is the explain plan. And log table is control the concurrency control. So whenever we are using the multiple users working with the database, so we want to log some table from the particular users, at the time we will be using the log table. So the next one is DCL, that is data control language. So here itself we can able to understand what is the functionality of the DCL. It is controlling the data. So mainly there are two functionalities here, the grant and revoke. So grant is giving the permissions. So general meaning of the grant is it's a permission, right? So here it gives the user access privileges to the database. So who are all going to be eligible to access that particular database or table. That is nothing but a grant. And once their work is finished, so further we don't want to give the same privileges to the particular users, so we want to remove that access. So that is a second functionality, is a revoke. So it is withdrawing the access privileges the given with the grant command. So these two things is comes under the DCL, that is data control language statements. And next one is TCL, transaction control languages. So whenever we are just dealing with the multiple the concurrencies, the data transactions is going to be happen. So during the transaction, so what are all the functionalities we needed under the database? So here the four different types of the functionalities is the first one is a commit, save point, rollback, and set transaction. So commit is nothing but, so when we are just normally we are just typing in a word files. So when it's a huge file means intermediately we will just giving the control S. For what purpose? It's up to that it is what we work done, we are just saving the point, right? So same kind of the work here, the commit is save work done. So whatever the work is done, so once we are just giving the commit, that is a save. Up to that it will be save. Next one is a save point. So identifying a point in a transaction to which you can later roll back. So after some transaction we want to roll back, that is we want to go the previously and we want to check what are the transactions happened. For that we will be just using the save point. And then next one is the rollback. So this is the restore the database to the original since the last commit where we just given the commit. So before that what are all the things is happen, so that going to be restored. So for that purpose we are just using the rollback. And set transaction, changing the transaction options like what rollback segment to be uses. So these are all the functionalities working under the TCL. So this is the basic general things of the SQL. So all these four types of the SQL queries we will be looking in detail in the upcoming sessions. Thank you so much.